You don't need to know what you're talking about in order to be a great homeschool teacher. You don't need to know the content in order for your child to excel in their learning. All you need is a genius approach. Seriously, it doesn't matter what kind of educational upbringing you had. It doesn't matter what the content is. You can approach this in a super genius way that allows your child to stretch and flourish in their learning. This is what I do here. I show you what these teaching and learning strategies are. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Natalie Burns, and I support homeschooling moms to find the freedom to reflect who you are as a family through the way that you teach, so that you can deepen connection with your child. Today, that big teaching tip is going to be all about gradual release. How can you posture yourself as a homeschooling mom and teacher so that your child can take on the responsibility for learning for themselves? How can you allow them to personally connect with how they think and learn so that when they graduate your homeschool, they know how to approach problem solving. They know how to tackle these big ideas that may not even have a right answer to them. The process of gradual release that we are going to walk through today is step 1, to model for them what you're talking about. Step 2, to do this thing together. Step 3, to allow them to give it a go, watching them and giving some feedback on it. And then step 4, to allowing them actual full autonomy to try this for themselves. So let's break down these 4 points in an example. Let's take driving. Imagine that your child is now going to be going for their learner's license, and you need to help prep them, set up the environment so that they can go ahead and do this driving test so that they can have this freedom in their own lives to move about where they want to. Well, step 1, you're already doing, you're modeling this for them. They are not just watching what you do when you see rules on the road. They're watching how you respond to these surprising situations. Like, what do you do when the light turns yellow? And why did you approach that problem differently one day versus another day based on what the environment was like, if it was dark or raining, or what the state of your tires was? You want to model for them what you are thinking on the inside for how you come up with these choices that you make. And they're going to learn through you and what you do. And I know that this is the hardest part because it means that we can have some sanctifying to do in some areas, and how we approach problem solving can use some refining in some instances. So if you find yourself just like the whole circuit's blown and you're upset and you're not really sure how to regulate yourself in that moment, that's how they are going to learn, through the way that you model. If you can learn how to do that inner work for yourself and stay calm and approach something with a sense of understanding of how you like to process through information, then they are going to see what that looks like from a response point of view. The second thing that you're going to do is do this skill together. So maybe you are driving and they are in the passenger seat and you are showing them and talking them through everything. And then you swap, and now if they have their learner's license, they are in the driver's seat, maybe in an open parking lot, and you are in the passenger seat, coaching them through how to park, how to back up, how to put your foot on the clutch and slowly release, all of those little details. You're doing it side by side, full support together. And then for step 3, this is a little bit different. This is when they get to work on this for themselves with just a little bit of tweak and guidance here and there. So you allow them to do the process with some constructive feedback. Remember that constructive feedback is not the same thing as criticism. You're not bashing them or making them feel bad for something that they made a mistake on. You are showing them what could be improved to be more helpful in their lives, and what things that you notice that they may want to consider adding in if they want to see success in this area. And then the 4th step here is to allow them to do this all by themselves. Now, maybe this is while they have their learner's license still and you just don't say anything in the passenger seat while they give it a go in the parking lot. Or it's now that they have their actual new driver's license, you release them to the road. When you finally release them to allow them to do this on their own, it doesn't mean you're not supportive anymore. It just looks a little bit different. So you've set up the environment, allowing them to flourish within that environment. So you may still be doing the insurance on the car and the checks for brakes and windshield washer fluid, starting to model for them how to do these checks for themselves. You're not making them do it all at once. Let them focus on one little piece at a time so that they can gradually start to take on more responsibility for themselves. This really is the same with learning anything, learning to drive, or learning how to approach multiplication, or learning how to understand a new culture. You want to go through these 4 steps, and I would actually like to challenge you, a little mini challenge here right now. Find something that your child is currently working on and model for them what learning that thing looks like. Do it together, watch them do it with a little bit of feedback, and then allow them to tackle it for themselves and see what kind of results this gives you in your homeschool. I am sure that you will see that your child feels more connected to you emotionally, even though you are practically releasing them to do this more independently, because they will feel like you trust them. They will see that you are practically showing them that you are giving them responsibility for themselves, and they will appreciate that. And then they have the option and the choice to come to you for guidance and feedback and insight, and they will appreciate your advice along the way. If you do this challenge and you feel like this is giving you the results that you were finally looking for, just like so many other moms have done, then you might also appreciate the Communication Connection Upgrade Challenge, because Gradual Release is part of day 3 in this challenge. So I'll leave the link for that below in case that interests you. This gradual release process is so helpful when you don't know the content that you're working on, because you're not modeling for them what the content is. You're modeling for them how to approach learning something when you don't have any background information on it yet. And this is really the most important skill, because if you can teach your child how to think and learn, then doesn't matter what content they are unpacking at a certain time, because whatever content comes their way, they will know how to approach that with confidence. If you found this video to be helpful, then I would love for you to hit that like button. And if this was encouraging for you and you would like to hear more, then make sure that you subscribe so that we can see each other again for the next one.